field days at elementary schools. We've done carnivals. You name it. We'd love to come out and show our support for the work that you guys do out in the community as well. So thank you again, Jackson, and excited for this weekend of some great high school playoff football.
Super excited for what we have coming up, folks. We're going to take a small break. On the flip side, Andrew Collinsworth, one of the play-by-play announcers for the TKDS Sports Network, will be joining us. So once again, hang tight. We're live till 11 right here at Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers here in Centerville, Ohio.
Hey, really appreciate you treating us to Cane's today, Todd.
Hey, anything from my favorite TV personality. Oh, and Kirk Herbstreit.
Hey, I'm used to it. Hey, you know Cane's is our favorite pregame meal. Nothing like kicking off game day with hand-battered cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce.
Speaking of the game, we gotta get back soon. What's the holdup?
Yeah, what's that noise?
Hello? Hello, anyone there?
We're gonna miss the tailgate.
This is the tailgate.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
One love.
In life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
This game just got big.
That's how we do it, fellas.
And better.
The energy is contagious.
Because we're back.
It's still a party here on HBCU Go.
And this season,
touchdown.
It's about the grit.
Unbelievable.
The glory.
This conference is anybody's to take.
And the clash of champions.
Every game is our championship game.
The 2025 HBCU Go football season is coming this fall. Only on HBCU Go.
Communities where leaders are forged and legacies are born. The Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference proudly celebrates the accomplishments of current and former students. From the playing field to the boardroom, they are the next generation of entrepreneurs, doctors, and executives.
Leaders rise here. Leaders rise here.
Leaders rise here.
Leaders rise here.
When every second counts and every drop matters, you don't settle for ordinary. You power up with Power Mist Racing Fuels. Trusted by champions, engineered for victory. From drag strips to dirt tracks, Power Mist delivers explosive performance, cleaner burns, and unmatched horsepower. Nitro, alcohol, methanol, gasoline blends. Whatever you race, we've got the fuel to ignite your edge. Power Mist Racing Fuels. Born to burn, built to win.
We welcome you back here on the TKDS Sports Network, our Sports Now Weekly Update show, live from Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers here in Centerville, Ohio. Jackson Lycap joined with regional marketer Logan Beam, who has expanded his region. We were talking about that a little bit before the show, and now joining us is a play-by-play announcer for TKDS Sports. It's our good friend Andrew Collinsworth. No relation to the great Chris Collinsworth that we've already talked about. We've already made that known on air multiple times. Andrew, thanks for taking time to join us, and hopefully you hear us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here. And unfortunately, not related to Chris. I get that a lot, especially being in the world of sports broadcasting. But, I'm sure it wouldn't hurt any connections down the road.
You know, a funny story before we get into our playoff football talk officially. The first time I worked, and actually this, Andrew, I'm just now realizing this may have been the only time that we've worked together. We called the NCAC Baseball Championships in the tournament last May. Division III baseball, we were calling it, and I was alongside Andrew, who's a former baseball player from Bluffton. And I threw out there, I asked them, I was like, any relation being in the broadcast field? Now, if you hear him saying, now here's a guy, that just means that it's within the last name. So, and Andrew, I think that's probably the last time we've worked together. I must have rubbed you the wrong way.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a fun day down there. I think that was at Chillicothe, right? And yeah, that was a good time. And yeah, I unfortunately can't lay any claim to being related to Chris, although I enjoy listening to his calls, and I know that sometimes some people are have some unpopular opinions about him and whatnot, but I actually enjoy him, so I don't think it's a bad thing to be, you know, closely not related, but you know, close to Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah, absolutely. He is certainly one of the best in the field, if not the best analyst out there right now. Andrew, you have a big game coming up tomorrow night live from Columbus. You're going to see Westerville South versus Canal Winchester, a game that's Division II, Region 7. Talk to us a little bit about what you know heading into it.
Yeah, so Canal Winchester is the 4 seed, Westerville South is the 5. So immediately that kind of jumps out at you as a potential really, really good game. Canal Winchester comes in at 9-1. Westerville South is 9-2. And Canal and South have actually played multiple times across the last few years because they used to be in the same conference together, and then there was a little bit of realignment recently. But they actually played each other in the playoffs last year. Canal came away with the win 17-7. But when you look at Canal, what really stands out to me is that explosive offense that they have. Their quarterback Quentin McGee, he's a all-state pitcher, and then on the in baseball, and then in the fall he's tearing it up on the gridiron, right? So he has some great receivers out there with him. Dennis White is a star as well for Canal. They just have a very explosive offense. And then on the flip side for Westerville South, they're kind of the exact opposite in terms of how they play the game. So Canal's going to get out there, they're going to play fast, they're going to push the ball down the field, and South wants to play as slow as possible. You know, they rely on their great defense, they rely on their run game. That's not to say that they can't throw the ball. Evan Andrews, who's their quarterback, can throw it a little bit, but he's much more of a running threat. And so I really think that this is going to be a fantastic matchup because it's two teams who have a very different identity, who are very, very talented and very, very good at doing those things. So it's really going to be interesting to see how this one plays out.
And, you know, one thing that's very interesting as well with Westerville South, now, Andrew, I was lucky enough to cover their game against Worthington Kilbourne, the final game of the regular season. They won that game 21-19. That actually gave them, at the time, a chance to become a first-round bye, and we'll get to that here in a couple of minutes. But one thing that's been great about Westerville South, and one thing I saw in that game, is that they run the ball, and even when they throw the ball, because they can throw the ball as well, what they do is they will make sure they stay in bounds. They keep it simple on their quarterback, keep that clock running. In that first half, I think Worthington Kilbourne maybe had the ball 4 minutes maximum offensive time in that first half.
Yeah, what Westerville South wants to do is they want the game to be as short as possible because they know that if it gets into a shootout that they might not have the same capabilities. And that's not to say that they don't have the playmakers, but that's just not their style of football. And especially when you go against a super talented Canal Winchester offense. This is one of the best teams that Canal has had in a very long time. And I think that, recently Canal Winchester has kind of beaten South. I think they've won their last 3 contests against them. So there's a little bit of rivalry here just because of the familiarity and whatnot. But you're exactly right about South. They want to make this game as short as possible. They're going to try to limit possessions. And their defense is good. They have a couple of guys on that side of the ball who are Division I commits. London Vickroy is the defensive lineman. He's going to be going to Miami next fall. And then Isaac Patterson is another defensive back who is going to go to Pitt next fall as well. So they got some real talent on the defensive side of the ball, and they play together as one unit. And it's going to be a tough test for Canal Winchester, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I know that.
You know, one interesting thing is that both these teams, you hear the saying, you want to be playing your best football come playoff time. And Canal Winchester, 5 wins in a row. Westerville South, 6 wins in a row. So both teams very hot. Unfortunately for them, one of those winning streaks are going to come to a close just in a little more than 24 hours.
Yeah, in Canal Winchester, their last loss, or their only loss this season, was Pickerington Central, who most people know is a perennial powerhouse in the Central Ohio area. If you're an Ohio State football fan and you know Sonny Styles and Lorenzo Styles, those are Pickerington Central guys. So they are consistently turning out talent from Pickerington Central. And so they go down and play Pickerington Central. they end up coming out with a loss. I think it was 43-30, a close game, and kind of Pickerington Central pulls away at the tail end of it. But Canal is right there with some of the best Division I teams in the state, definitely in the region. And so, they're coming in hot. That's their only loss on the season. They're going to put up a lot of points. And then South, like you said, also on a win streak of their own. But they do it a little bit differently. You mentioned the Worthington-Kilbourne game. They only win by a couple of points because those games are so slow and they're kind of condensed in a way. There's just not very many possessions, so there's never really a chance for Westerville South to really blow anybody out like you might see with Canal Winchester. But that means that they're really good at winning close ball games, which is really important come playoff time.
Andrew, talk to us a little bit about what you know for the coaches. The coaches, Eric Callen from Westerville South, and then for Canal Winchester, Rob Page, two of the greatest that are in the Columbus region, possibly even the entire state of Ohio.
Yeah, Coach Page has done a great job with Canal Winchester since taking over there, and you've seen them sort of progress over these last 5 years or so, where they've really turned into a program that is dangerous. They got a lot of really, really good players, but they're very, very well coached at the same time. They're disciplined. The players very rarely make mental mistakes, and that's the sign of a good coaching, right? Is that those guys are prepared to play week in and week out. And then for Westerville South, Eric Callen, he took over actually for Matthew Christ, who was the head coach there. And South is a historic program, but they really struggled in the 2010s until Matthew Christ took over, and he kind of turned a new leaf there at Westerville South. And then he stepped down, and Eric Callen, who is a graduate of Westerville South, played linebacker at Capital University. He stepped in and has done a fantastic job just continuing that program and that tradition and trying to defend their standard, I guess. And so he's done a terrific job as well. And it's a different style than they played under Matthew Christ when he was there. But again, like you said, two coaches who are establishing themselves as top coaches in the state.
Andrew, so you work with TKDS, but you're a man of many jobs. You also work for the OHSAA as well as I believe it's a media intern, if I'm not mistaken. One thing that the OHSAA implemented over the offseason, and this is the first time that we have ever seen this in OHSAA history and really ever in the state of Ohio. Keep in mind, you go back 20, 30 years ago, the playoffs per region were 4 teams. Then it became 8. Then it became everybody during COVID. After COVID, it went to 16. Now it's down to 12. And once it hit 12, that now means we will have 4 teams in every single region across the state of Ohio. So there's 28 regions. You multiply that by 4. I'm not a mathematician by any means. There's a reason why I talk on air for a living. But you're going to see a lot of teams for the first time in school history getting and obtaining a first-round bye. And this is something that we have never seen before, and it's going to be something we're going to finally be able to see how these schools are going to react to it come tomorrow, because it's their first playoff game, and they haven't played in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how some of these teams bounce back. I think that the 12-team format is kind of the happy medium. I think that 16, kind of their general consensus across the state was that was too many, as you saw a lot of those 16 seeds just go and get bounced first round in uncompetitive games where sometimes you're putting players in really difficult spots against teams that are just quite honestly superior. So I think when you whittle it down to 12, you still make the regular season really meaningful that way. And then, those top teams in the region, like you said, they're working to get buys, and we're going to find out whether or not those coaches are going to want the buys after this week, because we're going to see these teams have to make some sort of adjustment because, like you said, a lot of these teams have never had a bye going into the playoffs before. But I think that the 12-team format is a really good medium between 8 and 16. Obviously, it's smack dab in the middle, but you saw a lot of times where, when we were in the 8-team playoffs, that 9 seed or 10 seed, they'd go 6-4 or 7-3 sometimes, and there were even some 8-2 teams that wouldn't make the playoffs because their region was that loaded or whatever it may be. So this is really allowing teams to get a fair shot, I think, of making the playoffs. And last week, Louisville, the 12 seed, came down to Westfield South, the 5 seed, and took them right down to the last second. South ended up advancing on a last-second touchdown with 4 seconds left. They took the lead. So, that the competitive balance is still very high when you go to a 12-team playoff versus that 16 team. Sometimes that really could get out of hand in those 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15 games.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's been a great thing for the OHSA, and from a guy who's been able to cover it throughout the season on our Saturday show, on throughout the week, on our Friday night broadcast, it's brought more meaning to a lot of these schools, I think. I think it's brought a lot more meaning being able to describe it. I have some family members that are playing high school football, and just kind of seeing them who were on the bubble, and then on week 10 when they were able to clinch, it means a lot more to them when you realize that, hey, we may not make the playoffs. We actually have to continue to compete. It makes it a lot more competitive, as you said.
Yeah, and that's kind of the goal. You want these teams to compete through the last week of the season. If you go 1-4 through your first 5 games, you might have stacked your non-conference schedule. You go 1-4 through your first 5 games, you're not completely out of it. You can go 6-4 or 5-5 and still make the playoffs and still have a good shot at winning a playoff game now too, because you're not playing that 1 through 4 seed. If you're one of the bottom seeds, you can advance into the second round. And for a lot of these schools that, might not have the best history with football or whatever it is, that's pretty important to be able to win a playoff game. Sometimes those are things that can really propel a football program and really, provide something to these student athletes that might not get that chance otherwise.
Absolutely. Andrew, best of luck to you tomorrow on your call. Once again, you have the call for the Westerville South Canal Winchester game up in Columbus. You can watch it here on the TKDS Sports Network. You'll be live around 6:45. Join Andrew and his partner, Thomas Stenhulis, for that call. Andrew, thank you for your time this morning. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, Jackson.
That, once again, is Andrew Collinsworth, from the TKDS Sports Network. Before we take a break, game day's calling, and Raising Cane's is bringing the party. Tailgates just got tastier with hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and that legendary cane sauce. Don't forget to add crispy, crinkle-cut fries and buttery Texas toast and jugs of freshly squeezed lemonade and freshly brewed tea to turn your tailgate into a touchdown. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll talk about the other game that's going to be on our network. That's Rock Hill at Springfield Northeastern. That's all coming up and more on the Sports Now Weekly Update Show, live from Raising Cane's in Centerville, Ohio, off of 725, powered by TKDS Sports.
A restaurant that only serves chicken fingers was one man's and a dog's dream. They focused on the basics, and all that hard work paid off. Because Cane's puts the dine in dynasty, the yum in triumphant, the feast in undefeasted. This is Raising Cane's, and I'm Kirk Herbstreit, and I'm looking forward to serving you one heck of a chicken finger meal. Now, what can I get you, champ?
I'll take the box combo.
The year was 1907. The Cubs won the World Series and the Ford Model R hit the assembly line. While here in Ohio, school administrators came together to form the Ohio High School Athletic Association. One thing that hasn't changed since 1907 is the dedication of the OHSAA to education-based athletics in Ohio. School sports teach responsibility, sportsmanship, and life lessons that stay with students long after their playing days are over. The OHSAA seeks to prepare students not for the next level of sport, but for the next level of life.
Central State University is home.
Yeah, it's my time. Who I'm gonna be when I'm in the limelight? Shining in the dark like I was a nightlight. It's my time, yeah. I went from the back to front, last to
For God.
For Central.
For State.
When life gets messy, make it sweet. Only Dirty Dough delivers maximum flavor from the inside-out layers, mix-ins, and gooey fillings. No filters, no fuss, just real cookies for real life. Every week, a rotating lineup of handcrafted flavors. Join the loyalty program, earn points on every purchase, redeem for free cookies, and get a cookie on your birthday. Dirty Dough, it's what's inside that counts.
Looking to elevate your brand with quality custom printing? Red Ball Specialty Printing in Springfield, Ohio. Family owned and dedicated to attention, quality, and service. We customize everything from shirts, drinkware, pens, awards, and more. Whether 50 pieces or 5,000, we deliver color crisp, branding brilliant. From promotional apparel to recognition awards, we're your one-stop for impactful merchandise. Visit rbspdesignschipley.com or call 937-215-0740 today. Red Ball, you think it, they ink it.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Ohio. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Communities where leaders are forged and legacies are born. The Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference proudly celebrates the accomplishments of current and former students. From the playing field to the boardroom, they are the next generation of entrepreneurs, doctors, and executives.
Leaders rise here. Leaders rise here.
Leaders rise here.
Leaders rise here.
We welcome you back here to the TKTS Sports Network, live from Raising Cane's here in Centerville, Ohio. Visit them off 725 for some excellent grub. It's getting to lunchtime. Go visit them through the drive-thru. Come in, dine in, witness us live. We're live until 11, and if you can't make it in before 11, well, then make sure you come back throughout the rest of the day. Let's talk about some other games that are on the network. Once again, we're going to be seeing Rock Hill and Springfield Northeastern, a game that's going on Division 6, Region 24, Northeastern 9-1, clinching a first-round bye. They're going to be going up against 6-4 Rock Hill, coming from Ironton, who was the number 7 seed and got a big win last week over Dayton Christian, 47-28. Preston Shields will be on the call with that one with Dave Williams, and we were supposed to have Preston calling into the show a little bit ago, but as we mentioned at the top of the hour, he's a student at Ohio State. He's out doing student things. He's studying. He'll be graduating here in December. So once again, a big shout out to Preston, a great guy who really joined the network middle of the season and kind of got thrown in to the play-by-play role. And he has taken it, and he has not looked back. He has been absolutely incredible for the network, but unfortunately, we're going to have to hold this against him where he can't join us. So let's take a look at this game. Rock Hill 6-4, coming from Ironton. That's a longer drive, and this is really where you come into question. You have the first-round bye, where you don't know what to expect because you have teams who have never had a first-round bye in school history. That's where Northeastern is. But now you look at a team that's been playing consistently and has been playing better. They lost their last 3 games of the regular season. They lost to Portsmouth, Chesapeake, and Coal Grove, but they did get that big win against Dayton Christian on last Friday night on Halloween. They won that one 47-28. Dayton Christian's a 6-5 school. You look at the 3 back-to-back-to-back losses they had: Portsmouth 8-3, Chesapeake 1-9, Cole Grove 8-3. So 2 of those schools were extremely well. They probably shouldn't have lost that game to Chesapeake. And frankly, I'll probably have to go back and look a little bit more at the game film to see what went wrong there for the Rock Hill Redmen. But getting back in the win column is a huge confidence boost. And not only just getting back in the win column, their 3 losses, they combined for 28 points in 3 games. Last week, they put up 47. It was the most that they've put up all year, and it was against a 6-5, 10-seed playoff team. And anybody from the Dayton region who knows anything about Dayton Christian knows that their athletics are not slouched. They should not be slept on. Dayton Christian, for so many years, have been in the running for baseball. They've been in the running for basketball. Starting to see them get to that point with football. So Rock Hill is coming off an amazing win, 47-28 over Dayton Christian. But now going from Ironton, Ohio, which for those of you who are unfamiliar is down along the Ohio River. It is a long, long way. And in fact, I'm actually going to pull up my map. Once again, we're sitting here in Centerville, Ohio at Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers off 725. From here to Ironton, it's 2.5 hours. Now, granted, you're going probably a little bit, you're going wester, but you're going more north. You're going to have about a 2 to 2.5 hour drive, bus ride, from Rock Hill High School all the way up to Springfield Northeastern. But now you have Northeastern, who has just been on fire. They play in the Ohio Heritage Conference. Such an amazing conference. You have teams in that conference such as West Jefferson, Mechanicsburg, West Liberty-Salem, Greenview. Greenon put together a great season, one of the schools we see on our network. And Northeastern, 4-1 in conference. That lone loss coming to West Jefferson, they lost by 6. They're 9-1 overall. They've put up 415 points total as a team. They've allowed 161. They've had that first-round bye. Now, you have a team with a long drive. How are they going to react? But they've played every week versus a team who hasn't played in a pair of weeks because of that first-round bye. How are they going to react? That's what makes this 2025 high school football season so special. The unknowns. We don't know how teams are going to react to the first-round bye. We don't know how great a 12 seed is going to match up with a 5 seed. We have an idea, but we don't know fully. And that's what, again, is making these playoffs so great. We thought that the regular season and from week 3 all the way up to week 10, Region 2, for example, for those of you who listen to our Saturday morning show, our Friday night recap show, myself, Jonathan Snyder, Matthew Pennington, we've talked a lot about Region 2. A lot of the GWAC schools starting off 0-3. There's going to be a team that's going to be left out. You have Fairmont that sneaks in at the very end. You have Beaver Creek that's in the running, Centerville that's in the running up into week 10. And we've seen that in so many different regions. We've seen that in Region 3, Region 4, Region 8, Region 16's been another great one. Region 12's been a great one. Same situation with this Region 24 Division 6. And Northeastern putting together the season that they have. Diesel Taylor, over 1,700 passing yards. Cody Hausman, over 1,200 rushing yards. You have Jake Newman, over 1,000 receiving yards. This is a team that is built. The question is now, can they sustain and get by the first round bye? Are they going to come out sluggish and slow because they haven't been playing? Or are they going to come out firing on all cylinders because of the same reason, because they haven't been playing? They're ready to get out there. A lot of it's going to come down to a mindset. But there's so many times in other sports that we've seen teams get a first round bye, and you think that's great, but in reality, it becomes a death sentence for your team. We've seen it in college football. We've seen it in the NFL. We've seen it in Major League Baseball when they went to their bye week system. Now, granted, I know baseball and football are two completely different sports, but again, the unknowns. This has never happened before. At least in football, you've always had that first round bye. Not so much in college football. That was new last year. but now it's being implemented in the OHSA and how is it going to act. If you look at Northeastern, I think this is a Northeastern team that they ended their season against Triad with a 42-0 win. I mean, you look back at their last 3 games, they put up 47 points, 52 points on a great Mechanicsburg team, and then 42 points against a Triad team. This offense is legit. The defense has been sound over the last couple of weeks. This is a Northeastern team that could run the table in Region 24. And you look at them, and are they the best team? You got a lot of MAC schools in this region. You have Coldwater. You have Anna. 2 MAC schools, and we know what the MAC is all capable about. I mean, let's face it, that's the best athletic conference in the state of Ohio. The state championships through football and all sports speak for itself. In fact, you have Marion Local, who's a Division 7 team in that region, who has the longest win streak in all of the country. Not just Southwest Ohio, not just Ohio. The country, the United States of America, is sitting at 74. You also have Tri-Village, Mechanicsburg, that team Northeastern beats, that's right behind them. It's going to be fun. But going back to my point, Rock Hill, a team that got a big win after winning 5 in a row through the middle of their season. The best opponent that they played in that 5-game winning streak was Purcell Marion, who was 4-6. Gallia Academy also there, tied for 4-6. Fairland as well. But there's just been struggles. Rock Hill getting that big win last week against Dayton Christian. They're going to come in with all the momentum. Northeastern has had a week to sit on their big win against Triad. And I don't know. I think Northeastern and the Jets might just be a little bit too much to handle for Rock Hill. On paper, that's what it looks like. But the game is not played on paper. It's played on the field. And with that being said, it's going to be a fun one. You can watch it on the network. Preston Shields and Dave Williams will have the play-by-play for that. They'll be live tomorrow night at 6:45 with a 7 p.m. kickoff. We have come time for another break. But before we take a break, once again, tailgating made easy. Just a few clicks away. Order online at raisingcanes.com or on the Canes app and bring the flavor to your game day lineup. Load up hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers, crispy crinkle-cut fries, buttery Texas toast, and that iconic cane sauce. Don't forget the jugs of lemonade and tea to keep your crew refreshed. Make it easy for your team captain and load up a gift card or browse digital gift card options online at raisingcanes.com. Game day the easy way, game day the Canes way. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love. We'll take a break. We have one more game we're going to talk about on the network. That's Springfield and Springboro. And boy, oh boy, talking about Region 2, this one is going to be fun. And it's your TKDS Sports featured game of the week. We'll be back here in a few moments as we're talking about it and wrap up our show. Once again, the Sports Now Weekly Update Show, live from Raising Cane's at Centerville, Ohio, off 725.
When life gets messy, make it sweet. Only Dirty Dough delivers maximum flavor from the inside-out layers, mix-ins, and gooey fillings. No filters, no fuss, just real cookies for real life. Every week, a rotating lineup of handcrafted flavors. Join the loyalty program, earn points on every purchase, redeem for free cookies, and get a cookie on your birthday. Dirty Dough, it's what's inside that counts.
Looking to elevate your brand with quality custom printing? Red Ball Specialty Printing in Springfield, Ohio. Family owned and dedicated to attention, quality, and service. We customize everything from shirts, drinkware, pens, awards, and more. Whether 50 pieces or 5,000, we deliver color crisp, branding brilliant. From promotional apparel to recognition awards, we're your one stop for impactful merchandise. Visit rbspdesignschipley.com or call 937-215-0740 today. Red Ball, you think it, they ink it.
I'm Kirk Herbstreit, and today I'm eating Raising Cane's.
Herbstreit's in the drive-thru again. Oh, hey, Kirk. What can I get you today?
I want a solid bench of 4 chicken fingers that are real difference makers. Sprinkle cut fries with dynamic ridge patterns, Texas toast, and cane sauce with an air of smugness that comes from knowing you're the best. Now back to you, Todd.
So the usual.
Make Raising Cane's part of your game day lineup. One love.
Central State University is home.
On the way. Yeah, it's my time. Who I'm gonna be when I'm in the limelight? Shining in the dark like I was a nightlight. It's my time, yeah. I went from the back to front, last to one. Future looking like magnanimous. We on the way, know that. We on the way, know that.
For God.
For Central.
For State.
Back here on the TKVS Sports Network, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers is our sponsor. We're live here at Raising Cane's in Centerville, Ohio. We're live for about the next 12 minutes or so. And again, a huge shout out for Cane's in the Centerville location, Logan Beam, the regional marketing manager, to have us partnering with the TKVS Sports Network and becoming our corporate sponsor through football season, with plans for the basketball season coming up as well. Let's get into what's going to be probably the best game we see on the network. And it's going to be Springboro and Springfield. Springboro, the home team. Springfield, the visiting team. There's a lot of interesting stories surrounding this rivalry right here. The Battle of the Springs. First off, they're two GWOC schools. Two rivalries. They've already met once in the regular season at Care Flight Field, the same place they're playing on Friday, where Springfield got the 14-7 win. Springfield was holding on to a first-round bye for a while. Week 9, they go to Fairmont. They lose. They were 5-3, 5-game winning streak going into Fairmont. Fairmont needed to win to keep their season alive. They lost 10-7. At the time, they still held on to the number 4 seed. Springboro, with a win against Centerville and then a big win against Miamisburg in the last week, even with Springfield beating up on Northmont, who finished the season 0-10, were able to accumulate enough points to jump Springfield for that first-round bye. In return, Springboro sat at home last week. They are now the home team this week. Springfield had to host Marysville last week. And I don't, at least for myself, I can't speak on anyone else, I don't think anybody saw that jump coming. There had to be a lot that went right for the Panthers to be able to jump the Wildcats to obtain that number 4 seed and that first-round bye. That's exactly what happened. They did that. A big win against Centerville, a big win against Miamisburg, and that is how they were able to jump the Wildcats. Now, the Wildcats, they went in and they played Marysville, a tough team out of Columbus, and last week as the 12th seed. And Marysville 5-5, but don't let that record fool you, because that team is a very, very good team who's played a very, very tough schedule. Springfield beat them 35-6. The Wildcats, a team that, keep in mind, just a couple years ago, finished off going to 3 consecutive state championships. Head coach Mo Douglas there has been incredible. Last year, they were upset, though, in the first round. And they were upset in the first round against Hilliard Darby. It did not go well. They had an extended offseason. They started off the year 0-3 with a new quarterback. But since then, this Springfield team has been great. They lost to Winton Woods. They lost to West Jesuit. They lost to Trotwood. The common theme with those 3 schools of the first 3 weeks of the season is they are all still playing postseason football, and they are all still very, very, very quality schools in the state of Ohio with the expectations of making it to the Final Four, ending in a regional championship, and hopefully going to the state title game. You get into GWOC play, your lone loss is Fairmont. You only lost that by 3. You beat Wayne by 28. You beat Springboro by 7. You beat Miamisburg by 37, Centerville by 35, Northmont by 49, Beaver Creek by 31. This Springfield team is back. They're legit. They played incredible last week against Marysville. Springboro, on the flip side for them, again, going back to quoting what we've said on our Saturday morning show, Springboro has always been that team that has been incredible. They've been good, high expectations, heading into every single season. This is their year to win the conference. No, this is their year to win the conference. But you look back at Springboro, and the one thing with Springboro, they have not been able to come up with that big win. They haven't been able to beat Springfield in the past. They haven't been able to beat Wayne in the past. They haven't been able to beat Fairmont in the past, Centerville in the past. For some reason, Springboro has always been middle of the pack, no matter how great of a team they have, because they cannot play and beat those teams who are in the upper half of the Greater Western Ohio Conference. That changed this year. It didn't look like it was going to change this year starting out. You lost to Wayne in your first conference game, 48-23. Then you lost to Springfield. But go back. That loss against Springfield on Friday the 26th was actually the last loss that this Panthers team has had. Look ahead in October. You beat Centerville. You beat Fairmont. You beat a much improved Beaver Creek team. And with what you were able to do against Mason and Edgewood in your out-of-conference games, Springboro was the only team that was 2-1 with an above 500 record when conference play started in the GWAC. This is a team that's been playing their best football, 100%. The month of October has been incredible for Springboro. A young team from last year that's returning a lot. Max Miller, over 2,100 passing yards. And Miller, on top of that, 19 total touchdowns. The best thing with him, he doesn't turn over the football. Only 8 total turnovers this season. Matthias Brunicardi, 692 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns. He's also got 14 receptions on the season. Noah Belinsky, just 4 yards shy of an 1,000-yard season. This Springboro team is fun. They're fun to watch. Is this a team that could come in and get that win against Springfield this upcoming week? Absolutely. 100% with how great Springfield's been playing recently. Springfield, after starting 0-3, again, keep in mind, are 7-1 in their last 8 games. But Springboro, the difference between this time they're going up against Springfield, has gotten themselves a big GWAC win, which plays a lot with your mind, and it plays a lot with your confidence. A week off, this Springboro team's going to be ready to go. Springfield, on paper, probably the better team. But as I said in the last segment, there's a reason why the games are played on turf and not on paper. Number one, if it was played on paper, well, then you'd be slipping around everywhere you go. But then also you look at what Springfield and Springboro can do. Springfield, it's tough to beat a team 2 times in the same year. How many times have we seen a team beat a team in the regular season and then fall short in the playoffs? That Buffalo Bills-Kansas City Chiefs rivalry comes to mind. Buffalo gets them every time in the regular season. Playoffs, a different story. We saw that on Sunday. This Springboro and Springfield game, a 5v4 seed. Springboro stealing that first-round bye from Springfield. You think that would give them a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. Springfield, it's tough to beat a team 2 times in a year. Both teams are playing their best football. It's a lot of fun to watch. And we're going to have a GWAC showdown in week 2, of the playoffs. Christopher Wallace has put up a great season for Springfield. I'm looking forward to this. I'll have the play-by-play with alongside David Marshall in this one. And I am really, looking forward to this game. Not only do you get a rivalry in round 2 of the playoffs with a lot at stake, but you get two teams that are very familiar with each other in different It was a 7-point game last time they played, and that was over a month ago. Now you have both teams that are completely different makeshift. They're made up completely different. They are much different than what they played 7 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago, whatever it is. Like I said earlier on the show, I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a math guy. All I know, this game, Friday Night Lights, first Friday of September, or November, excuse me. I was thinking back when they played in September. First Friday of November. Get your popcorn ready. Springboro, Springfield, G-Walk Rivalry, Care Flight Field, live on TKDS Sports, sponsored by Raising Cane's. I mean, name a better atmosphere. It's going to be a fun one, for sure. Folks, once again, do game day the Canes way. Whether you're tailgating or cheering from the couch, fuel your crew with Raising Cane's. We're talking hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers, crispy crinkle-cut fries, buttery Texas toast, and the MVP of every bite. It's Cane sauce. Don't forget those jugs of freshly brewed tea and freshly squeezed lemonade to keep the squad refreshed. Big plays, big flavor. It's how Canes does game day. So rather rally your team and make your next tailgate a touchdown. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love. Folks, that'll take us to the end of the hour that we have. Again, a huge shout out to Raising Cane's here in Centerville, Ohio. We're off of 725 for allowing us to host. A huge shout out to our partner, Logan Beam, getting us in contact with Canes. A huge shout out to the Corporation of Canes for partnering with the TKDS Sports Network. It's been a great football season, and as football season winds down, a lot coming up for basketball season as well. And Logan, I know that you stepped away to get some work done. You're a busy man as well, but again, a huge thank you to you for setting this up, and a huge thank you for the Cane staff in general for being so hospitable to us and for hosting us here on site.
Thank you, Jackson, for being a great partner to Raising Cane's, and good luck to all the teams out there this weekend, this Friday, and as the playoffs continue in the state of Ohio. Just know we're here to support you at Raising Cane's. Visit raisingcanes.com. Go to our community page. We'd love to support the teams with fundraiser nights. We do on-site activation events. Just any way we can support. We love to give back to our communities. We see you. We see you come out to the Raising Cane's before the game, after the game. We know you're celebrating game day the Canes way, and just wish you all good luck out there. And, yeah, that's all I got, Jackson.
Well, that'll take us to the end of our show right on the dot, 11 o'clock a.m. Top of the hour. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to tune in tomorrow to the TKDS Sports Network, 6:45. All those games go live. Westerville, South Canal, Winchester, Rock Hill, Northeastern, Springfield, and Springboro. You can visit us at tkdsports.tv. And, hey, if you're watching at home, you might as well order some Raising Cane's for your tailgates at home as well. So, once again, Logan, thank you for all that you do. The TKDS Sports Network executive producer, Ivan, CEO Kevin Fowler, and I'm Jackson Lycap signing off from Raising Cane's here in Centerville. Goodbye.